What's going on, you guys? I got a very special guest today on my channel, Daru, former MMA fighter and strength coach for American Top Team. He's going to take us through some exercises that are really going to help you with your speed and explosiveness for boxing. Not just the exercises themselves, but the technicalities and the details in them and how you can apply them to maximize strength and power in your boxing. I'm going to leave a link in the video description below so you can go check out his channel. His channel is definitely growing and on the rise. He's got a lot of awesome information. In fact, before we connected, I already had been following him and picking up some tips and ideas from him. Also, go over to his channel and check out a really killer video I put together on how to synchronize your footwork and the jab, put that all together, and a bunch of different varieties. So check out this video, go over and check out his channel, subscribe to his channel, and watch the video over there. All right, Phil, you take it away.
What's going on, Precision Striking? My name is Daru. I'm the head strength and conditioning coach of American Top Team. I've worked with over 200 fighters from the sport of mixed martial arts all the way up into boxing. I just recently finished a camp with Sullivan Barrera. Now, my man Jason asked me to come on his channel to talk about what I could do to actually increase power production for your strikes inside the boxing ring. So I'm going to give you a couple of exercises that you could utilize to take inside the ring to make sure that you have powerful and strong striking ability. All right, let's go to the exercises. Okay guys, so first and foremost, in order to increase your power production or your overall ability to produce that power, we have to get strong. So from a physics standpoint, you can look at it like this. Power equals force times velocity. Now, what does that basically mean? Well, force is increase in maximal strength. So again, it goes back to actually getting our body stronger in several different base positions so that you can produce that power going further. Right? You also, with the velocity, you want to increase that maximal speed, right? So we want to increase the velocity of the movement so that we can increase that power production going further. All right? So force equals mass times acceleration. Again, we want to take a higher load, something that's very heavy, and we want to put maximal acceleration into that bar or into that ball or whatever the case may be, right? Velocity equals distance over time. So again, with velocity, we just want to make sure that we're moving it as fast as we possibly can with limited time under tension. In order to increase power, right, we must first increase strength. Again, like I said before, once that's accomplished, we then want to produce higher rates of force development. So we want to be able to relax and then explode, relax and then explode. If you have the ability to relax and contract efficiently, you're going to be a more powerful athlete. Okay? We must train the muscles that correlate to the movements applicable to the sport itself. Okay? So again, we've seen too many times before that people try to put weighted objects on a specific movement inside the ring. That's not very advantageous when you're talking about true biomechanics of the sport. It can hinder or deteriorate those biomechanics. So we want to work the muscles that increase that force production through those movement patterns first and foremost, not just do the movement under load. All right, so here's some exercises. Let's do it. Guess what we have here today in the gym? Maureen Shea. She's one of my boxers and a true legend in the game, right, Maureen? So obviously we're in camp right now. Next fight's in August, so we're getting ready for that. She's doing my heavy hitter program, so just wanted to show you guys and give her some love while we're here. Okay guys, so for the first strength exercise, we want to use something like a deadlift. You can use a conventional style deadlift, you can do a rack pull, but for right now, I want to work on the sumo deadlift. Now the reason why I like the sumo deadlift over any other deadlift, in my opinion, from an athletic standpoint, especially with combat sports, is the ability to have that lateral displacement. All right, so when I come down into this position here, my feet are out wide, my hips are externally rotated, and my feet are going to be slightly pointed out. So when I go to drive that bar up my shins, I'm actually pushing the floor apart, which is the same concept when I'm trying to move in and out the pocket. Okay, so I want to make sure that I have good strength and stability in my glutes and in my hips. So we're going to utilize this sumo deadlift to do that. All right, so basically what you're going to do, there's rings here on the bar. You want to go ahead and line your shins up with those rings. From there, I'm going to go ahead and screw my feet into the ground, right, causing that external rotation and hip torque. From there, I'm going to grab the ground with my toes, splaying all 3 points of contact on the floor, my big toe, little toe, and heel as I grip the ground. Okay, that's going to give me a solid base. So so that I can produce force going up the kinetic chain. From then, I'm gonna go ahead, keep my back nice and straight. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down and open up my knees. From there, I'm gonna grab with a double overhand grip, right? To start, shoulder width position, I grab, then from there, I lock my lats down, and from there, I'm gonna go ahead and spread the floor apart, drive the bar up my shins, and into lockout. Brace my core, lats are tight. I spread the floor apart, drive up, hips in. Now, for maximal strength, you want to work anywhere from 1 to 3 repetitions. Right? You're gonna do about 3 to 5 sets with that, making sure that the intensity are very high to increase that maximal strength. On to the next exercise.
Okay, so for the next exercise, we're gonna be working up into the upper body, and we're gonna do a floor press. Now, the reason why I like the floor press is because it doesn't allow for the shoulder to get pretty much stretched over its limit, right? So you're gonna be able to come down until where you need to, and then drive that bar up off your chest, right? Utilizing the muscles of your anterior delt and your tricep. At the end range of your punch, that's when that snap of the punch is really gonna count. Again, we're also keeping the body safe, not overstretching the delt and the pec, but we're also getting strength and force production through the muscles needed to produce that power going into your punches. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and lay flat down on the floor. Your feet are gonna be 24 inches apart, and your feet are gonna be flat out, okay? As I go to grab the bar, I'm gonna get a good grip, right? Grip the bar as nice and tight as I can. Then from there, I'm gonna go ahead and retract my lats and depress them down so I can create more stability in my posterior chain. I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna control it, not bounce it so I don't get loose. So I come down, control for a second, and then I explode back up, all right? Again, you still wanna work high force, so this is gonna be more of a maximal effort lift. Obviously, I'm not putting a whole lot of weight on here just to show you guys, but here it goes.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the plyometrics or the ballistics training to help increase velocity, to help overall power production. Now, when you're talking about increasing that power, we need to make sure that we're being explosive, all right? The only way to produce that power, again, is through high velocity. So make sure when you're doing this med ball toss that you take a ball that's light enough for you to produce that velocity, but also heavy enough so you can produce some force with it. Think baseball over a wiffle ball, all right? So I'm gonna take med ball here, right? First one we're gonna do is a rotational throw, okay? Now the rotational throw does involve the muscles of the oblique sling, right? The transverse abdominals that basically mimics an overhand throw, all right? So we're going to overhand or straight to, that's where you're gonna utilize. Again, we talked about movements and muscles. We're working both of them right now, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a step back towards the wall, elbows in tight. From here, I'm gonna go ahead and rotate and throw the ball through. As I rotate, my hips lead and then the arm follows. So I'm here, hips lead, arm follows. Again. Notice I'm pivoting my foot, right? I'm distributing the weight from the back leg up into my shoulder, out to the outer extremities. Okay, so you want to do about 5 to 10 repetitions on each side, then moving on to the next set. Make sure that you get adequate amount of time to recover so that you can produce that force and high velocities so that you'll get that power production. So the next one, we're going to work from the hips, okay? Because you do generate power from the kinetic chain. So we want to make sure that we're involving the hips and the upper body. So we did the upper body, now we're working on the lower body. So what we're gonna do now is called a lateral bound, okay? With this lateral bound, we're gonna go ahead and rotate and land on 2 feet. So it looks like this. You're gonna take your step back. I'm gonna go ahead and sink my hips down, right, into a good position, loading my hip, right? Loading the abductors From there, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot my hips forward, getting that extension. Then I'm going to rotate through. All right, so you're still working the muscles of the transverse plane because you have to rotate, and you're working the lateral chain because you're pushing off of that hip. So we're here, right? You go down, we push off, and then we stick. All right, always stick with good positioning. Make sure you're decelerating and absorbing that force. All right, so again, make sure that you are sitting back into the hip. You're not leaning forward on the knee, right? A lot of times what I see is that when people can't get back into that hip hinge position, they end up loading the knee too much, and that's not what we want. We want to make sure that we're loading that far side of the hip so that you can have better force displacement going in and out. Okay, so again, for the plyometrics, we're going to be working on reactive strength. So I want you to have the ability to absorb force and then redirect it, because if I'm trying to get in and out of the pocket, like I said, or let's say you're throwing a jab, right, and you want that step back two, jab, step back two, I need to be able to absorb and then redirect force. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to take a box. We're going to do what's called a drop jump box jump. So as I go to step down, right, I'm going to absorb that force, right, and make sure that I'm overcoming that gravitational pull towards the floor. So as I go down, I drop, boom, jump, and then stick, okay? All right, guys, so you've seen the strength exercises, you've seen the power exercises. Now we're gonna go into the core. Now, what I mean by core, and that's not just your abs, that's your entire midsection, right? From the lumbar spine down to your glutes. So what we're gonna utilize is a form of rotation and anti-rotation so that you can increase the stability and overall strength in the transverse plane to help you turn over your punches a little bit more efficiently, faster, and with more power. So first one we're gonna do is going to be a windshield wiper. Now you can take a landmine device, or you can take a barbell and set it inside of a plate so that you can rotate through the hip. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, here's a landmine. We're gonna get tight grip on the barbell, elbows are in, right? Your shoulders are down, all right, down and back, and your feet are shoulder width position, right? From here, I'm gonna press the bar out. Then I'm gonna go ahead and rotate, but I'm not gonna pivot my foot, right? I'm gonna keep my feet squared up. So from here, I'm gonna come down to my hip, and then I'm gonna drive back up and all the way over, keeping my hips as square as possible. Now from here, we can work the rotation. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep my elbows in this time, and now I'm gonna go ahead and pivot my foot and rotate down, like I'm gonna throw an uppercut, and then I'm gonna rotate back around. Boom. Boom. And I'm pivoting my foot on the far side at the same time. Okay? Okay, you can do about 3 to 4 sets, ranging from around 10 to 15 repetitions. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so here's another anti-rotation and rotation exercise for your core. This is called a payloft press. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab a band, all right? You can get these from Elite FTS, this is a heavy band, or you can just go to a cable machine and use the cable. I like the band because you get that accommodated resistance and the tension is a little bit more constant, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the band with my far side hand, right? Then I'm gonna lock it down with my other hand. I'm gonna get good tension on the band here. Keep my feet shoulder width. I'm gonna pull it towards my chest. From there, I'm gonna go ahead and press out, controlled, and then hold for a 2 count, bring it back in for a 2 count. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's gonna be the tempo. Out, hold, back in. Hold, back in. Now you can do about 10 repetitions. After that, you can throw in some rotation at the end to finish it off. So I go out, I hold after my last rep of the payloft press, and then I'm gonna rotate 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back in, control. All right? This is a good finisher movement to finish off your workout or to get your muscles firing up for any type of sparring or bag work or pad work inside your skills training, all right? Once again, my name is Phil Daru, head strength and conditioning coach of American Top Team. I have my own channel if you want to check it out, Daru Strong. Thanks again for watching. Peace.